I've trained for fucking years, and I literally did not know this until like a couple months ago. Oh shit, I want to watch this one. I was gonna move on from this, but I kind of want to.
One of the most common myths that I hear is that if unused, muscle tissue converts into fat. It's really important to say that muscle tissue has muscle cells and fat tissue has fat cells. They are not interchangeable. By no means is it chemically or physically possible for muscle tissue to convert over to fat and vice versa, fat into muscle.
Chat, I'm eating right now. If you think I'm going to be able to look at Okay Buddy instead of something that requires less attention, you're out of your mind, okay? If I'm not going to be able to obviously look at Okay Buddy currently while I'm eating, okay?
That's
Sean Kiekenmeister. I'm a clinical athletic trainer at the New York Sports Science Lab in Staten Island, New York.
and he's one of 3 athletic trainers we brought into our studios
My name's Janelle Mason.
My name is
bro
Andy Stern.
science.
to debunk 17 of the most common exercise myths.
It really depends on your goals. Training fasted in the morning is more conducive to losing fat because when you wake up, you're in a fasted state.
And that means
Your body is basically consuming itself. So it's looking at fat storage, it's looking at muscle storage. That's the time where if your goal is to lose weight and just slim down, lean down, that's the best time to optimize that window for training.
but
In terms of effectiveness of training in general, I don't think it really matters. You just need to make sure that if you are training at night, you are not fatiguing yourself throughout the day. So when most people think stretching, they're thinking static stretching. You achieve a certain position, you hold that position, and your goal is to increase your range of motion. The problem with that is you can end up really loose. And if you follow that type of stretching with something explosive or something ballistic or something strength-based, you now have a loose tissue or you have a lax joint,
Right.
and you're not going to be able to produce as much force, and you could also potentially lead yourself to being injured because you're not as stable.
I literally did not know this until like, bro, I've trained for fucking years, and I literally did not know this until like a couple months ago, where I would do static stretching in between deadlifts, and my trainer was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I would do a deadlift, and then I would just fucking lay down, like not lay down, but like perch up, basically, like crouch in almost like a squat position, and totally fucking stretch out my lower spine because it was giving me like this. It was giving me comfort when I did that. Okay, it was making me feel a lot better. And he was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing right now? Like, you're literally he's like, every time you fucking deadlift, you're doing this. Like, you're squeezing your fucking lower back, and you're working it, and then you're just working against it by just stretching it out. You're working against like what your muscles are supposed to do in a deadlift. By opening it up. Who does that? Me, dude. It was comfort. Like, it gave me comfort to do that.
So one of my favorite is when it's the holidays, right? And you have that aunt or uncle that's just like, hey, I'm just trying to lose it like right here, and they start pinching the lower abdomen. I'm like, oh great, you can't spot reduce the part that you want. And in good news, it doesn't go the other way either. It's not like when I eat a cheeseburger, it's gonna go right to my right hip.
and if you are trying to lower your body fat,
You can't spot reduce weight. That's a fucking idiotic myth. It's entirely dependent on your genetics. Entirely. Some people are lucky, and this is for girls too. Some people will just literally gain weight on their boobs, and they'll have like a straight up fucking 6-pack. And the more they eat, the fatter their titties get. Okay? I don't know how the fuck they do it, but it is just the way it is. And I'm sure that sucks for girls who are listening just as much as it sucks when dudes are incapable of gaining weight. When I see that, I'm like, fuck you guys. Some people gain weight first in their face. Like, it's just entirely different. Person to person is totally different. But ultimately, it's all about your genetics, about where you gain weight first and where you lose weight first, like fat. I mean, where you lose fat first and where you gain fat first is completely fucking genetic. There's nothing you can do about it. If you want to get skinny, or if you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat, you just have to lose fat. You just have to keep working out. And the last areas, the hardest areas to fucking lose fat in, are just going to always be the hardest areas for you to lose fat in. You just got to keep fucking shedding it.
that cardio isn't the best way to do it.
Cardio doesn't burn fat, cardio burns calories. So
yeah.
if your goal is to lose weight, you want to be in a caloric deficit. So as a part of getting into that caloric deficit, doing cardiovascular exercises is helpful.
Really good.
But if you're not eating a diet, or if you're not monitoring your caloric intake on top of that and making sure that you are in that deficit, no amount of cardio that you do, you can't outrun a bad diet.
And in fact, doing too much cardio can actually be a bad thing.
If all you're doing is cardio with the goal of losing weight, you can start to burn into that muscle tissue. So if you're burning into your lean muscle tissue now, you could actually be slowing down your metabolism. You could be decreasing your bone density, and you could be making yourself weaker. And that's why I think this myth is potentially the most dangerous and damaging one for the general population.
Fuck yeah!
But it may not be
My man, dude. Fuck cardio. I mean, I do cardio as well, but yeah. Also, dude, what he's talking about is like extreme, okay? Chat, don't worry. None of you have lost muscle tissue by overworking cardio, okay? He's talking about like something entirely different than what you think you're doing. You should still do cardio. It's the most effective way of burning calories, okay? Straight up. It is. I hate it, but it is the case. That is what it is. I hate cardio, but it's a necessity, especially if you want to fucking, burn calories. Okay? Not fat, calories.
as common as the belief that
I love this one. One myth I hear all the time is that muscle weighs more than fat. A pound of bricks weighs the same as a pound of feathers. So it's not that muscle weighs more than fat, it's that muscle is more dense than fat.
Yeah.
So in terms of you building muscle, you can add weight on the scale. The scale isn't necessarily the best indicator of progress when we're trying to develop our physique, and oftentimes at first you can add muscle and the scale will reflect that you're heavier. But over time, understanding that for all the lean muscle you have, you're increasing your resting calories burned per day, that's a long-term sustainable change in your body as opposed to just doing cardio.
That's why athletes at the professional level, even if they're not literally in this during the season like working out, and even if they're off season and not working out at all, still eat a lot more just for maintenance, because the amount of lean muscle mass that you have determines your resting metabolic rate, how much energy your body needs to basically run, to operate. That's it.
Cardio sessions and going into caloric deficit and starving yourself.
of course, building muscle isn't just for men.
Women think that they'll bulk up if they start working out, and if that's the look you're going for, I think that's great because you're doing something that you want to do.
So dumb.
But if you are working out for general wellness and health, I don't want you to be afraid to lift heavy weights. You're not going to get bulky by nature.
And in fact, weightlifting is especially important for women.
As we age, we become more prone to getting osteoporosis. So we definitely need to be doing resistance training where our muscles are feeling that stimulation so that the bones nearby can remain strong.
And whether you're a man
Part of the reason why, by the way, part of the reason why women feel this way is because they look at women, like female fitness models and stuff, without realizing that like half those fucking models are taking steroids. That's why they got the fucking muscular jaw and shit, okay? They'll be like, oh, I don't want to look like that. It's like, dude, you're never going to look like that. Are you fucking insane? You're never going to look like that. Like lean, what was it? Lean beef patty or whatever? Like lean beef patty. I don't think she takes steroids. I think she's natty. But like the type of fucking workouts that she's doing is like insane. I'm pretty sure she is natty. Christ. Bro, she's not natty, bro. Is she not? How do you find out how much you should eat? I'm a short, skinny king. How do I know what's too little and what will lower my metabolism? Need to look at your okay. How much weight or like what your resting metabolic rate looks like is entirely dependent on your daily activity, okay? Are you living a sedentary lifestyle or are you very active? It's dependent on your lean muscle mass, like your dry, your lean muscle mass, how much muscle mass you have, and genetic markers, like genetic conditions that your family might have, okay? Some people just have like, you know, shittier metabolism, like a thyroid condition, shit like that. I don't know if there's like a good metric for it, but I guess like you could just look at like online calorie calculators or something. But remember, like online calorie calculators, even like losing weight and gaining weight, calories in, calories out, none of these things are an exact science. You will never be able to exactly fucking figure it out. So you need to use that specifically as just a benchmark, okay? A way to guide yourself. It's never a 100% exact science. It's just a guideline. You have to remember that.
Don't actually need weights at all to build strength.
I mean, the myth being that you have to go to the gym to be doing strength training is crazy, right? Your body is a weight. So body weight exercises have been around forever, and they're so important to be able to push up your body or crunch or squat or pull up.
And if it's a six-pack you're after, the muscles themselves aren't even that important.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a six-pack is not about doing tons of crunches. A lot of it has to do with
Made in the
nutrition.
kitchen.
And Stern agrees.
Abs are made in the kitchen. The abs are a muscle. If you're gonna target the muscle by doing crunches, leg lifts, bicycle crunches, oblique twists, you're
You cannot outwork your diet. You can never outwork your diet.
essentially building the muscle. So think of it as you're building the engine of the car, and then the outside is your body fat. And how do you show off the inside of the car? You've got to reduce that body fat.
So sweating a lot means you got a really great workout is something I hear all the time. Unfortunately, that's not true either. Some people are just naturally more prone to sweating. Some people just have underactive sweat glands. So it means that you're healthy in your filtration system, but it doesn't necessarily reflect the effectiveness of your workout.
But if you do sweat a lot, how should you replenish?
I would not say that most commercial sports drinks are the most efficient way of rehydrating following a workout.
But plain water isn't going to cut it either.
If you're just consuming water too, that's also not the most effective way of hydrating, because hydration is not just water. There's also trace minerals that act as electrolytes, which help with nerve conduction, they help with brain function, they help with muscular contraction.
So if you're looking for the best way to rehydrate post-workout,
it could be very beneficial to add just a dab of pink Himalayan sea salt to water. The pink Himalayan sea salt has over 60 trace minerals, all of which are found naturally in human sweat. So when you consider something like a Gatorade or a Powerade, they may have 4 or 5 different electrolytes in their blends. So they're falling drastically short in terms of overall hydration when it comes to all the minerals in your body.
and after a workout, you should also eat protein immediately, right? If
I don't know anything about I hydrate myself with Diet Mountain Dew instead.
you already have a protein-rich diet, you don't need to worry so much about downing a protein shake right after your workout.
Now, what you are going to be depleted of, though, especially if you're doing anaerobic exercise, you're going to be depleted of glycogen. Glycogen is the immediate form of energy for muscle contraction, and that comes in way of simple carbohydrates and sugars. So post-training, it's important to replenish that glycogen.
But even if you're fueling muscles with a proper diet, they still need time off.
Hashtag no days off. The old myth that we should not take a day off is an extreme. There's a huge value in letting the muscle repair itself, right? So every time you do, let's go back to the bicep curl. If I'm doing a bicep curl, a small tear is gonna happen in my bicep. So the body is going to repair itself because again, it's a machine and it knows how to survive. And if I continue to do it,
This is the first and last time I will ever take seriously a man wearing a sleeveless hoodie.
I don't have a window of opportunity for the body, the soldiers to jump in and be like, all right, let's fix this tear because it's just constantly being worked. So it needs some of that downtime to heal it.
It's my absolute least favorite thing that a human being can wear, straight up. Like literally the worst thing you can wear. And he wanted to fucking fulfill the fucking douchebag look. No disrespect, but I do love my gym bros, but he fucking wore a backwards cap too.
Itself.
Especially if you're sore.
That's a myth for sure. Soreness is the breakdown of muscle tissue. It's the chemicals released during that breakdown. It's not an indicator of, oh, I'm getting stronger or I'm getting weaker. But if your soreness persists for longer than 72 hours, that could be a sign that you're under recovering or overtraining. 1 month is not enough to undo a lifetime of bad habits. So it's important to start slow, find the things that you enjoy, find the physical activities that make you feel good, make that a daily habit.
And there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
There's not one type of movement that you should be doing that is better than the other. So if you
The only thing I disagree on that is just compound muscle exercises. It's good for everybody.
enjoy dancing, go out and dance. Go out dancing 3 times a week, or do a dance cardio class, or something that gets you moving. If you like to jump on trampolines, do that. I think the best movement for anyone to do is something that they enjoy, because the only way that you're gonna stick to your workout being a lifestyle for you is for you to be doing something you enjoy.
That was great.